All right. You would think I'd be a pro at this by now. You would think I'd be a professional. All right. Apparently not. I don't even know how to turn my speaker down. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Politics. As you guys seen by the title, I wanted to dabble a little bit in regards to Texas's new um, abortion law. Um, Not only the law itself, but how the Supreme Court has denied or refused to, look into whether the bill, the law is unconstitutional or not. Um, so if you guys know anything about it, definitely put it in the comments. Let's have a discussion. Um, I'm just kind of curious on how you guys feel about it. What are you guys thinking? Just or unjust? Um, just your general thoughts on it. I got a video to kind of introduce, kind of what the law is about.
Good morning. Yes, Governor Abbott defending this law. He was at an event yesterday where he took questions from reporters. Now, the question was particularly focused on Senate Bill 8. Now, as we've reported, that bill went into effect on September 1st and prohibits abortions once a heartbeat can be detected. That law does not make exceptions for rape or incest. When asked whether the law would force rape victims to give birth, this was the governor's response.
It doesn't require that at all because obviously it provides at least 6 weeks for a person to be able to get an abortion. And so for one, it doesn't provide that. That said, however, let's make something very clear. Rape is a crime, and Texas will work tirelessly to make sure that we eliminate all rapists from the streets of Texas by aggressively going out and arresting them and prosecuting them and getting them off the streets. So goal number one in the state of Texas is to eliminate rape so that no woman, no person will be a victim of rape. But in addition to that, we do want to make sure that we provide support for those who are victims of rape. And we have organizations that we as a state support, that others support, to make sure that anybody who's victimized that will get the support they need.
When he talks about going after rapists and this language of him that he uses about getting rapists off the streets, the majority of people who are raped and who are sexually assaulted are assaulted by someone that they know. And these aren't just predators that are walking around the streets at night. They are people's uncles, they are teachers, they are family friends. And when something like that happens, it takes a very long time, first of all, for any victim to come forward. And second of all, when a victim comes forward, they don't necessarily want to bring their case into the carceral system. They don't want to re-traumatize themselves by going to court.
So that's your gist of it. I see that Angel's not buying the governor's retort. The thing that I don't love about politics in general, but it seems to be heavily skewed towards Republicans lately, is like, so the question was, are you saying that victims of rape or will be forced to have their kid? And instead of him saying yes or no, he got his most applause was from some ramble about how rape is illegal. We're going to do everything we can to get rapists off the streets, which rapists should be off the streets and all of that stuff. But that has nothing to do with the question. The question was, are you going to force these women to have babies by people who had raped them? And so he did answer slightly. He didn't dive into it. He answered and kept going about the rapists or whatever. But he said we're giving people what do you say? We're giving people at least 6 weeks. So it's really giving you a maximum of 6 weeks, not at least. Like at max 6 weeks, because anything over that, and it would be illegal. Um, Andrew said he said no, but sometimes people don't know they're pregnant as early as before 6 weeks. So that's something else I was going to say. Like I've never been pregnant. Clearly, I don't know. I'm sure some women in the audience can say how who have had kids or abortions for that matter. How soon after, like, how many weeks were you when you noticed, or how many weeks were you when you found out when you took a pregnancy test or got your abortion or whatever it is? I don't know. Like 6 weeks don't sound like that. That it doesn't sound like a long amount of time to me. Whatever your opinions is on abortion, right or wrong, whatever the case is, having a kid in general, I don't know. 6 weeks don't sound like that long for me. 4 weeks to that, you would just assume that it's not your time of the month. I would assume, you know what I'm saying, and then you had 2 additional weeks where the date can fluctuate. 6 weeks doesn't seem like a long time to me, but maybe it is. Maybe somebody in the audience can attest to, you know, uh, to when, what's is 6 weeks a long time? Is it enough time? When did you find out about yours? Andrew said, I can't believe stuff like this is happening um, and the news, or I can't believe stuff like this is happening in the news in our lifetime. I thought we had been through this for sure. Roe versus Wade was a bunch of years ago. So this is essentially backtracking on that. So not only that, but the federal government, the Supreme Court, is refusing to throw their hat in the ring and say whether it's unconstitutional or not. I feel like on something as this, um, something that's this divisive, that you probably want to rule on it. You probably want to take a look at it and make sure that everything is on the up and up, to make sure that states can do this, to make sure it's not violating anyone's rights. But on the other end, I will add this, that um, to play devil's advocate, the federal government, the Supreme Court at least, haven't stepped in and said, vaccines, um, where states or whatever can make vaccines mandatory. I know that no states are saying that or suggesting that, but a lot of the argument a lot of people um, uh, throw in is, the my body, my choice about the vaccine. But then when women say that same thing about abortions, then it's not a level playing field. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, where's the line drawn for Republicans or others, what I'm saying, who feel some way about, not doing the vaccine because they don't want to or whatever, but then also telling other people what they can do with their bodies when it comes to abortions. I don't get it. Deanna said, "This is turning into some Handmaid's Tale." So I never watched the show. This is not the first time I've heard that analogy. I have no idea what it means. So feel free to educate me. I've never watched the show, but yeah, just let me know, because I have no idea what it means. But it's not the first time I've heard that when doing research for this topic. Um, so yeah, so it's a major backtrack. Like I said, regardless of how you feel about abortions, good or bad, um, the fact that this law does not protect women when it comes to some type of abuse or sexual assault, or or just anything where it wasn't like we're planning to have this baby. You know what I'm saying? Anything other than that, um, uh, I said it wrong. Like, it doesn't protect, like the bills in the past have protected, saying that women who have been raped or women who have been sexually assaulted and ended up pregnant could still get abortions and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Um, the only thing I believe this bill does is that protects you from where you can't get an abortion after 6 weeks is if it endangers your life. It's not even necessarily the life of the kid or the baby or whatever, but the mother's life is the only way. So not if you find out that your kid is going to be born with some sort of a deformity. You know, they got all this stuff where you can find out the information before you actually have the kid. Like, is my kid going to be, um, have Down syndrome, or they're going to have, um, uh, whatever ailment or whatever you want to call it. Um, but for none of that, you can't terminate for none of that, except for if the mom is for health reasons for the mom. But other than that, then you got to have the kid, which, like I said, past bills have protected against stuff like rape and sexual assault, sexual abuse. Um, that's where I think this bill is even more insane, you know, because they're just going to force you, they're going to tell you what you can and can't do, um, for something that could be already traumatic. Now you got to go. So not only can you not just get rid of the baby to kind of move on to life and heal or whatever the case is, um, but you gotta have that kid forever for the rest of your life. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing or a good thing or whatever the case is, but uh, it probably should be a choice. You know what I'm saying? It probably should be up to the woman if that's something that they feel like they can deal with. If that's something, if their life um, currently like allows time or space or whatever for a kid. Some people don't have money, you know what I'm saying? Some people are poor and broke and mistakes happen or carelessness happen. I get it, you know what I'm saying? Some people say, you shouldn't have been having unprotected sex. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how babies are made, so you should have been more careful, etc. Uh, but now that kid is poor now. You know what I'm saying? Not ordering a family where that kid has been abused or whatever the case is. One thing I never understood about people who say like, all right, uh, we're against abortions, but we also don't want low income people relying on the government for all of their needs and stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, if you know that your kid's gonna be born into poverty or just a bad situation, and you got a chance to not have that, then I would think you would support it. You know what I'm saying? You would support abortions so that Tammy or whatever don't have kid number 6 or 7 while she only getting government assistance. If that's how you look at her, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how these people have it both ways. One of the things I want to touch on about this bill is he was so adamant. The governor was so adamant. The governor of Texas was so adamant about getting rapists off the streets and all of this stuff about how rape is illegal, which clearly. Um, but this bill is not even being enforced by the state itself. They're relying on your everyday citizens to pretty much tell or snitch or rat on the people who are going to get abortions and stuff. So you can actually turn in people, take them to court essentially, and sue them for going to get abortions when it's illegal, um, which is crazy. Which is crazy. Like there's no he don't have state troopers or any government organization actually policing this. He's relying on the everyday citizen, the average day, your neighbors, your crossing guard, whoever, to turn you in, and that's how they're going to find out about the abortion, and then that person can sue you. That person can sue you for going to get an abortion. Something that has nothing to do with them at all. Even if it was between you and the government, now you got a third person who found out about your abortion somehow, some way, and it's just crazy to me. Um, I've never heard that, like any government, any law encouraging like uh, vigilantes. Essentially, I've never heard this, especially when that person can actually sue you for breaking the law, but you won't be like prosecuted, um, by the government. If the center that you go to does it after 6 weeks, and they'll be in trouble, blah blah blah. because it's illegal, but they're relying on citizens to actually turn you in, which is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Something positive, I guess you can say, something positive I would say that there have been a lot of people who have stepped up and helped people cross the state lines to go to other states to get abortions. Um, but I want to say it was Oklahoma. I want to say it was Oklahoma maybe who was saying that like their reservation was getting full so fast in regards to women who wanted to get abortions that was crossing the border just to do this stuff. Um, and don't forget this is Texas, where you already have people going to Mexico to get cheap prescriptions or certain surgeries and stuff because you can't afford healthcare in this country. So, and abortions definitely fall into the healthcare category. No matter how you look at it, right or wrong, it is a healthcare matter. So when you have people that have to flee their state, sometimes flee their country just to go get some healthcare work done, it's absolutely absurd. You guys who have watched the show before know how I feel about healthcare in this country. Is the biggest rip off and joke I've ever seen. Like, of all the stuff that goes on in the world, the healthcare here is absurd. I actually seen a video. It's kind of like a sidebar. I seen a video of a woman who said, if I'm paying monthly for insurance and I go to a doctor that's in network, why do I still have to have copays? Like that doesn't make sense. I'm already paying monthly. I'm going to the set of doctors that you guys arranged. Why do I have to have a copay? That doesn't make sense to me. I never thought about that, but that's absolutely right. She's 100% correct. Um, the healthcare situation in the country is the saddest part about all of this, in my opinion. Um, so that's the gist of it. The light overview of the Texas bill. If you guys got anything in the comments that you want to say or add, please do it now. I got one more video that I just thought it was interesting.
Since the Texas abortion ban was allowed to go into law last week, we've been keeping an eye on neighboring states around Texas, even neighboring very red states like Oklahoma, for example, where clinics that still offer abortion services already say they are filling up with a flood of patients from Texas. We've been watching activist groups and women's networks put plans into action to fund women and help women cross state lines out of Texas so they can access abortion legally before those neighboring states start to ban it too. More than half a dozen Republican-controlled states are already moving to copy Texas's law and thereby effectively ban abortion in other states as well. But for right now, at least, Texas is the only state that has effectively banned abortion, and so women in Texas who need an abortion have to leave the state somehow in order to get one. In the midst of that today, though, watching all those developments, it was a bit of a bolt from the blue to get today's news from across Texas's other state line, from across Texas's border to the south. Because today, the Supreme Court of Mexico ruled that it is unconstitutional to ban abortion any longer in that country. Some states in Mexico allow for legal abortion, some do not. But the Supreme Court ruling today in Mexico struck down one state's abortion ban, and the ruling is expected to be binding on all states in the country. In other words, Mexico just got its Roe versus Wade today, just a few days after the Republican-appointed majority on our Supreme Court got rid of the protections of Roe in the United States of America. It's like our two countries passed each other at the threshold, right? Like one country leaving this century going backwards, the other one on its way in.
Rachel Maddow from CNN took all of her thunder about the Oklahoma clinics being overrun and people have to leave. I try not to spoil the Mexico thing about them saying that abortions is unconstitutional or banning abortions is unconstitutional. Therefore, abortions in Mexico will now be legalized, which is crazy that it took this long for them to do it. Yet they did it. It's also crazy that in America we have states who are going backwards, as she put it. I don't get it. This place never ceases to amaze me. That's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you joining me as always. Be sure to share this for me. Comment still. I'll always respond to the comments later. As always, there's a story behind me that I think you guys might find interesting. I think this is from Politico, but the Delta variant and all these disasters around the country. Just look into what FEMA is kind of stretched with doing right now is interesting to me, and it might be interesting to you guys as well. So you guys be safe out there. Take it easy. Looking forward to sharing uh, the next Let's Get Takeout with you guys on Friday. It's always a good time. If you haven't checked them out now, go check them out because they're pretty good. Good reviews by Byron. Looking forward to talking to you guys Sunday as well. September 11th is Saturday, so do all your never forgetting stuff. We're going to be talking about, it's going to be a sad show on Sunday. Talk about some depression. National Depression Day is Friday, or that's right, National Depression and Suicide Awareness Day is Friday. So that's what we're going to be talking about on Sunday: prevention and letting people know that they're not alone and how to deal with stuff. And let's get through this stuff together. So you guys be safe. Like I said, share for me. Salute to the city as always, and we will see you guys soon. Thank you.